Oh, man, I always forget how chilly it gets when I do a cold open. But, man, probably should have worn a hat. Or even gloves would have been nice, but... Anyway, before I freeze my beans up, welcome to SmartLess.
SmartLess.
You guys, I mean, don't make me cry. It's been a month and a half.
I know, it's pretty wild.
I'm so happy to see you in your house
I know,
in
it's
LA.
so cool,
It makes
yeah.
me feel really good, and I know that we're going to see you later.
Yeah.
Later today.
Which is later today.
I'm going to put my mouth on both of you right away.
Hang on,
Okay?
hang on.
One
hang on,
lip
hang
for
on.
each.
That's another Sunday.
Please stop now. I urge you.
Wait a minute, Jason. I know you told us a little bit about your character, but is your character supposed to be
tell us-
clean at all?
Yeah,
Like,
hang on. Good. Tell us about your character.
This is the start of a typical interview. Tell us about your character. What is...
no, because like,
As a storyteller, sorry, Sean, you're going to go, but
no. Well, anyway, I don't really care. I mean, I care,
I know,
but I mean,
I
like,
know.
is he supposed to bathe?
No, and that's why I look like, I mean, there's long hair and long beard, and it's not, this
Are you
guy,
anxious to cut it all off, or are you like liking
Yeah,
it?
and we haven't even gone into the teeth of summer yet. I'll be going through summer in New York City with this long hair and long beard.
how's that beard going to feel on 16-hour days in the summer in New York?
Oh,
It's
God.
however bad it feels, it's gonna smell even worse.
Yeah.
Okay?
Have you been trimming it now because you've got it at a length that you like?
No. Well, we had to trim it once just for continuity, so it doesn't get too. But I get, people maybe be like, should we worry? Is there a hotline we can call into?
Well, Amanda
the
admitted
hotline.
to us a bunch of times, and even to anybody who'll listen. And then last weekend at dinner, she was chewing somebody's ear off about, and then he just looks like somebody new and different.
Yeah.
And I heard her. I forget who she was sitting to.
Scotty, she's
She's
sitting next to Scotty.
No, I know. Well, it's just about different, right? I mean, I look like somebody other than the person who's been sharing a bed with her for 25 years. So
Right,
it's
right.
just, she's just seeing flashing green lights all over the place.
I actually think it's handsome.
It is handsome.
Thank you. Well,
I mean, maybe trimmed with a little trim of the beard, but the hair is.
yeah, you know who doesn't dig it? Maple, my 12-year-old. She'll barely look at me. Well, all she wants is Marty Bird back.
Sure.
Nice and short hair, some kind of a banker look.
What about the sleeve? Does Marty roll his sleeves up ever? Because Michael Bluth rolled his sleeves up.
Well, he was always trying to get down to business, and Will, I think about that every time, literally, that I turn up my sleeves. I hear you go, "Well, let's get down to business, sir." You're not wrong.
But you're feeling good though. You're happy to be
feeling
home.
good. I'm very happy to be home. I cannot wait to see you guys tonight.
can't wait.
This is the first time we've done one of these for 6
I know.
weeks.
People don't
and-
realize we sometimes bank episodes, and we had to do that because you were directing,
Yeah.
so we
yes.
were 2 months ahead.
Right. And
How are you feeling at the end of your directing? Did it go? Did everything kind of pretty much go where you wanted to?
It went even better than I'd hoped.
Great.
And that was because
Yes.
everybody came together so well, crew and the cast. And
Yes, Amanda said it was going really great. I was so
I
excited.
can't wait for people to see it. Really, really proud of it.
And it's
That's
called Black Rabbit.
It's called Black Rabbit.
We're super excited.
For some odd Netflix, God bless them, they're not dissimilar from other companies in that, like right around when Star Wars started to get rekindled and Marvel started to go, and people really tried to like steal scripts online and like get a jump on things and like release spoilers and stuff. All studios went to a pseudonym for projects,
right.
regardless of their budget scale. Like, this ain't Star Wars,
Right.
I mean, it's a great thing, but it's not.
Sean,
I'm out.
that was directed at you. Yeah.
So we had to come up with a pseudonym per Netflix, and I was so like, oh my God, this is not a Marvel thing. We don't need a pseudonym. And I was so like over it when I got the email, and my dog Gary was just laying on my lap. And so I said, let's call it Gary the dog. So all over the show is called Gary the Dog. If you're in New York, like all the
really
location
funny.
signs and the call sheets, and everything, so that no one figures out where Black Rabbit's shooting.
Well,
so they
now
can't
you have to
get
change the
pictures.
name.
No, it's
a state secret.
Ted, I'm sorry. He's going to call me and yell at me, perhaps, but it's just. Yeah, I can't wait for my actual dog to show up on set, and everyone will see.
You know what that
dog.
reminds me of? Sorry, it just made me think. When years ago, what is this? More than 15 years ago, we had finished shooting. It was about to be released. Blades of Glory, the ice skating movie.
Yeah.
Me and Farrell and Amy and everybody.
I love that movie.
Fun movie, really
Directed
fun.
by the great Will
directed
Speck
by
and Josh Gordon.
Our friends Will and Josh directed, and so I remember I was in a cab going downtown in New York on Broadway, just above Canal Street, and I was talking to Will on my cell phone. I guess it was probably pre smartphone. Talking to Will, and as I was talking to him, this woman comes up to the window of the cab and she's holding up bootleg copy. The movie hasn't been released yet. Bootleg copies of Blades of Glory. And I said, "Hey, Will, do you want me to grab you a copy of the movie?" We hadn't even had the premiere yet.
And a $6 Louis Vuitton bag. You were right there on Canal, right?
Remember piracy was like so super bad, but like the physical piracy?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I do
Anyway.
that. You know, I went to Allie Wentworth and George Stephanopoulos' house for dinner, and I didn't have anything last minute to bring as you do when you go to somebody's house for dinner.
Sure.
So I stopped on the street and I bought Jason one of those $6 Prada bags. And for Allie, as like instead of like a bottle of wine or something.
It's so
That's going to be my thing now. I'm just going to buy like
brilliant.
20 of them, have them in my closet. And if I don't have anything, I'm just going to bring people like pink Prada bags that just cost $6.
By the way, now you got customs on your ass. They're like,
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Guys, let's get to our guest. She's been so kindly waiting.
Yep.
She's a true Los Angeles native, but counterintuitively, showbiz wasn't always her career path. She graduated from Vassar with a degree in psychobiology.
What a beautiful campus.
And then went to work
nice.
for her dad, a headache specialist.
Huh?
But one thing led to another, as it so often does in Tinseltown, and she ended up at the Groundlings, bit by the comedy bug. She's fluent in French, married to a Frenchman, and I'm guessing loves
my
French
Lisa.
fries. All three of us would consider this person a
it's
friend, but to the
Lisa.
rest of the world, she's one of 6 friends. It's Lisa Kudrow.
It's Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa.
Oh, with a gorgeous filter on.
As soon as you said married to a Frenchman, I knew it was Lisa.
Yeah.
Michelle Stone.
Michelle.
Michelle.
Michelle Stone.
Oui. But I'm not fluent. I'm not fluent in French.
Oh, you
No.
aren't? All right, I
No.
made that
What
up.
about French Canadian?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you must
well.
speak. You must speak a little bit of it because your husband.
Yeah, I do. I speak a little of it because my husband.
So
Yeah.
is that on purpose? You didn't want to
What if you
learn
just
it.
repeated everything?
I know that.
So good. Your mirror
good.
work is phenomenal, by the way.
Did you not learn the whole language so that you could tune him out when he's really going at you with some stuff?
No, he speaks so fast. I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I did take it in high school. I took
Sure,
4
me
years
too.
of.
And you know, Will speaks it fluently. Right?
Well, you know, I've spoken French with Michelle many times, but
one
he
cigarette,
ends up.
one
You're right.
coffee.
He won't slow it down for you. So if you don't keep up, then he'll just flip to English because he's like, I'm not going to waste my time.
Right.
So, yeah,
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
I love
Very
that.
Parisian.
Lisa, why do you look so pretty today? Not that you don't always do, but
Do you
like
have a callback today?
Yes. I thought this was it. So I thought this was an audition. And so I got
because you
all
know we're
dolled
not
up.
like filming this.
No, but you look
gorgeous.
great. Your lighting
I
is good.
know.
Your lighting is good, and I love that you have enough self-respect to like blur out your background because you don't like Sean wants us all to look at his Canon printer.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
his
like
little baby Yoda that's hard to
Yeah.
get up there.
But
in
you're
the
like
corner.
I'm gonna be front and center. You look great. Your lighting looks great. You look phenomenal.
Totally.
No, but because it's mayhem here.
Is it?
It
Wait.
looks like it could be a nice looking bookshelf back there. Maybe even
does
better
look
than
nice.
Sean's.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually trying to unblur it so you can see.
Oh, there it
Oh,
is.
there it is.
There it is.
Well,
Still
what is
slightly
that?
It's
blurred.
a little blurry.
But you know what?
And
That looks really nice like that.
It's a shallow depth of
Because at
field.
least you can kind of see this. Okay.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was going to just get right to, can you help my daughter get into Vassar? You know,
Yeah.
because we toured that campus. And
Is she interested, Jason?
It's, I don't know if she is, but it looks like Hogwarts. I mean, it's so
really?
beautiful there.
It's really beautiful. A lot of people end up at Vassar just from the tour.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And then they're disappointed they didn't go to Yale. But yeah, it's really beautiful.
It's so yeah. It's
Was
so
college
beautiful.
a good experience for you? Did
I
you?
loved it.
Yeah.
with all
I
my
did
heart.
too. I did.
Now,
too, yeah.
were you an academic, or were you
Yeah.
a just sort of doing your
No, she
schoolwork
said
so
yeah.
that you could party?
No, she said yeah.
I wanted to say yeah to
And
the
then you
Getting
party.
back-
kept you kept talking. You didn't listen. She answered.
I like to drive people into the answer I want.
Right. Well,
You've forgotten. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I was a biology major, so there was no
Wow,
choice
really?
but to be academic because that's a big commitment.
So what was the impetus for that? So you come out of high school, you're
Oh.
kicking ass in science and math, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah. I thought I'll be pre-med. My dad's a doctor. My brother was
Right.
starting medical school. And I thought, yeah, I'll be a doctor too.
And was that interesting to you?
Well, biology was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I loved it. Biology. I mean, it's such a huge. it's.
But
it's
what
such
kind of
an
doctor you
enormous-
think you would have been?
I don't know. I wasn't set on that, but halfway through, I went, "Oh no, there's no way I'm going to be a practicing physician. There's no
Right.
way." So,
Because
because I realized I wasn't as interested in that as I was in. I liked evolutionary biology, so I was
Same.
just going to continue and do.
Will's big on creation biology. Go ahead,
sure.
Will.
Yeah.
But
I remember the Paula Abdul song Vibology?
No,
No.
we don't.
No,
man.
nobody does.
I used,
No.
I used to
Jesus.
pretend I was going to Vibology.
I mean, no
class.
offense to her, but
Aw.
nobody does.
Yeah.
But wait, so Lisa, so your dad was Sean, did you say that? Did he say it right? Your dad was specialized in headaches?
Yeah,
Headache.
So what's that? Talk to us a little bit about that.
And I worked
Because I got two headaches. I got two
Doesn't
headaches
sound
on the
like a-
line with me every day. Okay, how do you get rid of them? Maybe you can help me get rid of them.
It's called recasting.
Okay.
Well, he got a lot of headaches, and he was, like a family practice or internist, and then decided he would switch to just treating, researching headache.
Wow.
So is it migraines or just the common headache?
At the time, from what I remember, because I worked for him
Right.
from college till Friends, basically.
Like in the summers
Really?
or full time?
No, full time after
Wow,
college.
really?
That was my day job, which was really lucky.
Where was
So-
that?
In Encino.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go on.
And at the time, there's 9 different headache types at
Let's
that
have
time.
'em.
So I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Well, we got migraine. Are there different subsets of
Of migraine,
migraines?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Hemiplegic, ophthalmic, classical. Yeah.
And do you know how to treat, can you, like you and I know your son, and like the second you feel something going on, you must know all about them to know what to do with them, right?
No.
All right, great.
I mean, a little, but there's a lot of new medications and things. My brother's a headache specialist. He's a neurologist who took over when my dad retired.
Be honest, is he in bed with the folks over at Bayer?
In bed with.
But I am. While we're pulled over here for a second, I am. I mean, is a headache? I mean, it's mostly just like a blood flow problem, correct? Or no?
I think. Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I mean,
so you were
key-
answering the phone. Is that what you were doing there?
You're
I
just
was
doling out
answering the phone.
Tylenol? I mean, this sounds like
Yeah.
this sounds like a
Well,
pretty
no, but
shady operation.
I kind of
Jesus.
knew a lot about
Sketchy.
cluster headache. That was this subset of
That's when
headaches.
you're around
It's
too
not a
many people?
migraine. What?
Is that when you're around too many people?
No.
And is the classical headache from
No, but
listening
that's
to?
a good guess.
Yeah, thank you.
No, it's not.
I'm just about making people feel good.
Yeah.
Sure. And by the way,
That's what I'm
which
about.
leads me to, you told me before, we were hanging out at another friend's house.
Huh?
And you told me, I was asking about your family growing up, and you were like, I was the least funny in the house. And I
Yeah.
was like, what? As a kid?
Yeah.
And you said, and I always found that hard to believe. So were you interested in comedy at all? Like, when
Yes.
what tickled you?
Oh, well, I'm the youngest,
Yeah.
in the family. So that's always like the least competent person in the house.
Yeah.
You get away with a lot. Though.
How many siblings?
I have 2.
Okay.
And they're older and really funny. And my dad is really funny. And he's 91 and he still is.
Yeah.
And so, I just would repeat what they said, bring it back to school, and sometimes get in trouble because it's like 6 and 8 years older than what was
Right.
appropriate for
Right.
kindergarten or first grade. But
Yeah.
junior high, I did play production where we wrote sketches and performed them. And that was huge for me. That was a very big deal.
Was Saturday Night Live consequently like one of your favorite shows?
Yeah, I did. I loved it. I did love it.
Yeah, same. I used to watch it.
Gilda Radner.
Was that a gold?
Lorraine
Oh, no way,
Newman.
you too, Sean? No way.
Yeah.
What a weird coincidence. Sorry, Lisa.
I know.
Keep going. Oh, you liked Saturday Night Live? Fucking breaking news. Jesus Christ.
Here's what's
Same,
special
same.
about
I
me.
liked it
I
too.
loved Saturday Night
I loved the
Live.
Beatles. Oh, yeah, I loved it too. Yeah. They were really good.
What about Oxygen?
I know.
Love
Yeah,
breathing.
I breathe oxygen.
So was it Groundlings? Was it? Did you want to go there as maybe a path to potentially become a cast member?
No, Groundlings, that was after college. And that really wasn't my goal was not Saturday Night Live, but my goal was to avoid a dramatic acting class at all costs.
Right.
Because from what I understood, they seemed like cults and it was just people taking everything way too seriously.
Yeah, I was in one once, and it was like that. Yeah, it was like people used it as an excuse to not move on in life.
Or therapy.
Ooh.
Or therapy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Whereas the world beaters in the comedy class.
Yeah. Well, that was the huge revelation.
Yeah.
Was, the comedy folk are way off. Like there's something really wrong.
Yeah.
Well, also, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, like you get to you get to laugh and have fun all the time. See,
Yeah.
Right.
that's a little, let you know, a little secret that feels good.
Instead of trying to make people cry.
I know, but let me ask you something.
Okay.
Of all the stand-ups, who is more serious than a
stand-ups.
stand-up
That's so true.
about their stand-up
Wait,
work?
who would you say is funnier in person than on stage, and they're great on stage?
Marty Short is the funniest.
Marty Short, Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis is stand-up. He's the funniest person in person,
Yeah.
which is hard to
Ever.
believe because he's so funny on stage and in stuff. He
Will
is
Ferrell.
Farrell.
I think
as well.
yeah.
Farrell's done a
Although,
stand-up.
does Ferrell ever? Yeah, he never did stand-up, right?
Conan.
No. Conan.
Conan,
Yeah, Conan,
incredibly funny. But however, having said all that, who? What I wanted to know, Lisa, who is in your class at
Wasn't
Groundlings?
Conan?
Like, what was?
Conan.
So Conan
Conan.
was.
I would have quit if
That must have
not
been
for
exhausting.
Conan, by the way.
Sorry. I thought you were going to go the other way. He wanted to make you
No.
quit.
We'll cut that one, Will.
Yeah, you were tell us about that at the Groundlings
Yeah,
because
it was nuts. Well, I couldn't take groundling classes because they wouldn't let me because I hadn't had enough experience with anything. So they sent me to Cynthia Seghetti, an improv teacher at the Coronet, which is now, God damn it,
Largo.
Largo.
Thank you. Yeah.
Largo, yeah.
And I went to the first class and thought, oh no, these are not my people and I can't do this. I commit. I don't know what that means. And they're all embarrassing me with their space ball, like with an emotional adjustment, like grrr. I went, I can't do this.
Yeah,
Isn't
right.
I think I'm out
It's too
of
serious.
acting forever.
Yes.
And then the next week I said, all right, just go. You committed to this, just go. And I was a little late and everyone was up there. It's like, no, I don't want to break the flow. I'll just sit here and watch and die. And they were lifting a disc or something. And
An imaginary disc.
yes,
Yeah.
right.
Sounds
Space work,
heavy.
mime, actually. And so one of them was doing it, and it was Conan, this tall, really tall redhead guy, is lifting the disc. And when he's angry, he's just kind of angry, and he's just really lifting a disc or throwing the space ball without too much. And the teacher, Cynthia, was saying, good commitment. I went, oh, that's commitment. It's not embarrassing. You're just really
that's cool.
doing it.
that is cool.
And I thought, okay, that guy. So I made sure I made a beeline to him, said, hi, I'm Lisa. That was really good. And he said, I'm Conan. And we became best friends.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
From that
And
moment
is it
on.
true that Conan gives you credit for him taking over Letterman?
Not credit, no,
But a little push.
kind of. I mean, because he was asked to produce that show. Lorne Michaels asked
Yeah.
Conan to be the producer. So they were looking for someone to be the host. And Conan was saying, I want someone smart but funny, but who can have a conversation with writers, authors and politicians. And I said, well, that's you. So you should do it because nobody replaces
Wow.
David Letterman. You're nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of the only.
And at
funny.
this point, he was he the head writer on Saturday Night Live?
No, he was at The Simpsons.
Oh, that's right. It's The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Oh, had he been at Saturday Night Live or not yet
Yeah.
there?
Oh no, he had already been. That's how Lorne Michaels knew him.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
wild. And you guys have been close ever since. That's so cool. And then you actually went back to the Groundlings to teach, right? So then you became Cynthia.
No, while you're at the Groundlings, you can teach. And I taught Cheryl Hines was in my class. Some other people too, and I don't remember. I voted Will Ferrell into the Groundlings. Maybe.
Wow, that's so
Nice.
cool.
Nice vote.
Not me alone, but
Yeah.
Well,
But-
but you might want to do a lap on that one, though.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd do a lap.
An
David
influential
Spade.
vote.
David Spade. Sorry, I just had another comedian who's very funny off.
yeah.
Lisa, have you ever done stand-up?
No. Well, no.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you?
No.
Why?
Because I don't want to write jokes.
Yeah.
But what about if somebody wrote them for you? What about being a host
you're
of a
not
late night
stand-up
show?
if
But
somebody-
like but what about like let's say like the monologue that the Jimmies do, or like would you do that? Would you be comfortable with that?
No.
No,
Could you do late night?
No.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like
Yeah.
be a
I mean,
host?
Be on
what do
be
you
a
mean?
guest?
Yeah, would you
No, I
host a
don't wanna
late night
host.
talk show?
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
wanna
What do
host
I mean? You
anything.
know what I mean. Now, okay, now you're being confrontational.
See, I think that'd be such a great
You
job.
listen to me. Yeah. No,
Now, Sean, you've done, and Will, you've done, you've guest hosted Kimmel Show.
Yeah.
So you've done.
Oh, wow.
You've done monologues up front there.
Yeah.
What is that a comfortable thing?
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I would
It's
be
kinda
really
fun.
interested in
I
trying.
like
it.
it.
no, but it's not just the monologues because then you have to interview people, which
Yeah.
you all three know how to do.
And that can be death.
But
Yeah,
it
I
would
don't
be
think I
hard.
could do
I
that.
think
Look
it
how
would be
fucking
hard by
shitty we
our-
are at it.
Yeah, but we get to like it's cut three ways. You know, if it was just me interviewing somebody,
Yeah.
I would you'd answer a question and I'd just be nodding at you and going, "Huh, that's great." I would not
That's-
have my next question ready.
That's
No,
the hard
that's
part
my
of the job.
fear too. That's why. I
No,
don't
but
do it.
even if somebody gives you the question, no, if it would be hard to just to give the impression that I'm interested.
Right. But you know,
Yeah.
I'll bet I would love to watch the talk show. And Letterman was kind of good at this too, although he was he was a decent fellow about it. But he'd still let you see in just a little bit that he's not feeling this guest. This guest is not hitting the ball back like they should. Like they're acting like they're doing us a favor by being on the show. And like I used to like that. I used to like to try to read him. And 9 times out of 10, the guest kind of deserved it. They were kind of being jerks, and he wasn't helping them, and he kind of let them sink. I think you'd be good at that, Willie.
I don't know. I'm just looking at Lisa and I'm remembering. Lisa, have I ever told you this? I'm remembering the first time we ever met.
Uh-oh. Do you guys, Sean, should Sean and I
We've
take
gone
a
on
quick
to
five?
work together. Lisa and I did BoJack Horseman together. We've done some stuff, and right, and
Great
which was
show. My God.
really great. And
Best show.
you were so great on it. And but the first time we met, it was like the first year of Arrested Development.
Cue the music.
And somehow we were at the Beverly Hills Hotel. There was something going on. You were meeting somebody for lunch, and you were do you remember this?
No,
You probably don't.
I
You
know
probably
you
don't.
told me this.
I think I told you this, and you were still on. Friends was still like maybe in its last year.
Okay.
And I was such a huge fan, as you know, and because I've bored you with it at least so many times. Such a huge fan of The Comeback. I mean, I just freaking loved it. What a genius, underappreciated show. You were so brilliant in it, and our good friend Mike
Thanks.
Schur was on the staff, and just an amazing, amazing, amazing show. For me, it was a mind blower, and. So I just said hi to you, and we sort of said hi, and I made some stupid joke, and you don't, and you go, oh, you are kind of like your character on that show. And I walked to my car, and I was like, fucking what?
I was being funny.
I know.
I was trying to be funny.
It really hurt my feelings. I drove and I
I'm
crashed
so
my car.
sorry.
Yeah.
I know you told me, and I said then, I'm saying it now. I'm sorry.
Wait, did you literally get an
You
accident?
got in an accident?
No, I didn't get it. No, I didn't get an accident. But I was like, I really, because she was like a big star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, still is.
I know.
At least
But I felt like a ding dong. Anyway.
tell my sister Tracy, who's listening from Wisconsin, about because I know I still love this.
By the
story.
way, I'm sorry, Tracy. I've been gone for a month and a half. I just got home to that really sweet, Wisconsin Badger golf shirt you sent.
We already talked about it.
No, Jason didn't.
But I had not opened it yet. I was still in New York. And, Tracy, I don't like it. No.
Fuck, I thought you were going the other way. Shit.
Well, curveball.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And thank you.
That's very sweet.
But
at least for my sister who may not know this story, I always find it so interesting. And a lot of people do know, but if you wouldn't mind, first of all, I want to go. Scotty and I watch episodes of Cheers a lot. Like we'll take like 10 years off and then we'll watch Cheers again.
Yeah.
And I'm always
You
so
guys are
blown away
nuts.
crazy.
when you pop on there. I was like, oh my God, is that one of your first jobs on Cheers, or is that the first job?
That was the first guest starring
Wow.
job on
With
television.
Woody Harrelson. It's so cool. You were so
Like
great on
Taft
that.
Hartley.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you met Jimmy Burrows for the first time right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I was going. So then Frasier, right? Or Mad About You then? What was next?
Frasier.
Frasier.
Well, not next after I did other guest star. Apparently, I was on Coach like 3 times.
Apparently.
Has IMDb made a mistake?
Do you not remember that experience?
That's right.
Wow.
And recently, I worked with Linda Lavin, and she said, you were on a pilot that I did. The casting director reminded me,
And you forgot about it.
nothing. It's like those like the Uber Eats commercials where you purge stuff so that you have room for other
Yeah.
things.
Right.
So when you were Ursula on Mad About You.
And that I do remember.
Okay,
God.
so and that's the thing that caught what? Jimmy Burrows' attention, the network's attention, or what?
No, David Crane's boyfriend, partner, is Jeffrey Cleric, and Jeffrey was a writer for Mad About You at the time. So when they were casting Friends, Jeffrey said, what about Lisa, who's playing Ursula? That might be a good Phoebe.
Wow.
Right, but you filmed the part of Roz for Frasier before that?
Yeah, I didn't film it. I got fired before that.
Oh, let's
fired
go.
You got fired from Frasier?
Frasier, yeah.
Isn't that interesting, though?
Is it because you put hands on Kelsey or
No.
David or you just running your
Dog,
mouth?
You know
had an
me
issue
so
with the
well.
dog.
Oh, my
You had
God.
an issue with the
Is it
dog.
put hands on like wringing
Yeah,
necks
that's
or
like
put
it-
hands on cupping something?
No. It's striking somebody or shaking
Yeah.
somebody vigorously.
Well, you know how violent I
Isn't
am.
it wild how just everything works out? Like you don't
No,
get that, so
yeah.
you get that, and then
Yeah.
it's just
I know. And it was devastating to get fired, but
So when you went in for the part of Phoebe on Friends,
yeah.
you knew Jimmy already. Jimmy Burrows, for those who don't know, directed the pilot and a
great.
bunch of the first season of Friends. The great Jimmy Burrows, whom we all
Yeah.
adore.
Yeah.
So when you went to audition for that, he was already very familiar with you and loved you,
Well, he was
evidently.
familiar enough that, that
Yeah.
I got fired from the last thing. So,
But he-
by the way, do you know when we shot the reunion for Friends? Or was it there or something else, like a Jim Burrows celebration?
Yeah.
Where I learned I was the only cast member for Friends that had to audition for Jimmy Burrows
really,
Really?
Yeah.
why is that?
because I had just gotten fired from Frasier
Wow.
and he was directing
So
it.
Jimmy had been instrumental in your firing from Frasier.
I don't know.
He probably could have fought it.
Probably.
It sounds like it. I mean, it's
you know.
let's
So he
listen.
felt bad. He probably didn't want to cast you in Friends. Was like, listen, I already fired this kid once. Give her this job.
No, he's not like that.
You know what?
He's
I
smarter
know
than
he
that. No, but when I had my audition, I did
Let's
it.
pull
it
him
was
into
just,
this call.
Yeah.
Okay, call
Can you just
him
hold
up.
1 second?
No, when you went to audition,
When I auditioned, it's just this small room. He's sitting at a desk. I'm in a chair. And
Yeah.
the audition was like a little monologue thing.
Where
And
was it? Do you remember?
at Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And when I'm done, he just went, no notes.
Yeah.
wow.
And I thought,
No
all
notes.
right.
But
So
that's a
good.
good. That's
I don't know what that
means you
means.
That's
like
pretty
it's
good.
hopeless
No,
or
you did
it's
really well.
perfect.
Do you remember? So you do that. That's probably in the spring of like 94, maybe 93, something
Here
like
she
that,
comes,
right?
Mrs. Mary Lou
Of
Henner.
Friends, where you do the pilot.
94.
94, right? So I was right the first time. So you
No.
do the. I know.
I don't
And
know. Yeah.
you do the pilot. You shoot the pilot. And do you remember the different like? Do you have a moment like a year later or 6 months later where you're like, holy shit, my life has changed so quickly?
No.
No, you don't.
No, it wasn't like that. It was Mad About You that changed a lot for me because I had been fired from Frasier and then I did a guest star on Mad About You. They had me back. I'd already done a guest star the first season. So now I'm there for a different character. And my agents had said, you're not doing this. They called like in the morning, can she just come in an hour? The character is called Waitress. There's no name. And my agents at the time were saying, no, you can't. It doesn't even have a name. Don't do this. I said, I'm not in a position to say no. And it's to me the best show. And I'm doing it. And by the end of the week, Danny Jacobson said, you're so funny. Would you be okay doing 5 more episodes? I just went, yes.
Oh, thank God you did that.
There's
Danny
my rent for the
Jacobson's
year. I don't have to
fucking
get
funny as
another
hell.
day job.
Yeah. But then your dad's scrambling to find somebody to hand out the Tylenol. I mean, you kind of screwed your dad over a little bit.
Wait,
Luckily, I mean,
Lisa, what can you say, or can you remember? Do you know why you were fired from Frasier?
It just wasn't working.
yeah.
I don't know.
So you were like midweek. You were like through the producer run through the network run through or something, and then they
But
made a
during the
switch?
run throughs, because Jimmy was saying like this isn't working, so just don't even.
Right.
They have to fix it.
Right.
Because I was trying to like, what's not working? What can I do? But I think they did make a casting mistake with me because I went to the network with Perry Gilpin,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
for whatever
Who was-
reason,
who got the part?
yes, and so I think they were just correcting a mistake
Got it.
Got it.
because Perry should have always been Ross. You know,
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a
interesting.
funny. You guys, well, we've talked about it a little bit, but you've been fired from a role that you just weren't right for before,
Yeah.
have you? I have. I mean,
I
certainly.
got fired and then rehired.
Or the stuff that you don't get, and then you end up being available for the thing that you really. I mean, like that
Right.
classic story of you and Rain on Arrested Development.
Well, first of all, no, the year before I got fired off that pilot, that it was the show became Still Standing, and when it got picked up for series, and I didn't get picked up. But it would never felt right. And had I not been fired at the time, I was like, "Fuck! What a great job!" Had I not been fired, I wouldn't have been available for Arrested Development.
Yeah,
and it was
and
the
if
same
Rain-
same casting director, Deb Barilski, whom I
But
adore.
can I ask you guys something? When you are fired from something,
Yeah,
I mean, I know for me, there's that moment of, wow, maybe this just isn't supposed to work out, this career choice.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Oh, you did have that when,
I have it every day. Still.
yeah, it's not working out.
You know what,
Sean.
Lisa? I did
So
my
sorry.
thing was like, I ended up getting fired, and I said I was kind of like fuck them, and I was living in New York at the time. Amy was doing SNL, and I was like, I'm gonna do. I happened to do, you know what? That summer, I happened to do, or no, a couple summers before, I happened to do a reading at New York Stage and Film, one of those reading things at Vassar.
Yeah, Powerhouse.
Yeah,
Theater,
yeah. So you're there for like a week, and
Yeah.
you're kind of workshopping a new play. And I met this playwright and this director, and he ended up calling me and saying, I'm going to do this play with the new group off Broadway. And so I was like, I'm just going to stay in New York and do theater and fuck TV. That was my thing, was like, they're not firing me. I'm firing them. I'm firing the whole TV business, like they cared.
Yeah.
And
Right. That'll show them.
Yeah.
but that kind of made me get my head around it, feel better about myself. That's how
that's
I dealt
great.
with it. Yeah.
But you're right, Lisa. It's so all you need is just one firing, and you think maybe I just don't, because it's so thin what we do. It's not backed up by credentials and diplomas and
Right.
4 years of finishing school and all of that stuff. It's so sort of
Random.
subjective.
Right.
You know,
And also, Lisa, think about it. Similarly to you, within a year, my life changed. After that moment where I thought it was all done,
Yeah.
my life changed forever. It's the same
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but that's what's important to me, like for younger artists who definitely have talent. And yes, you can be discouraged, but then you've got to pull yourself back up. Like, that can't be your mindset for too long. Otherwise, it won't work out. It's just not going to work
It'll
out.
win. That mindset will win.
Lisa, let me ask you this on this subject, because I was just talking about it, because sometimes, and I'm sure you guys have had it too, like, my parents will be like, so-and-so's grandnephew wants to be an actor. Will you talk to him? And I always think, like, I want to be generous, but also, and I was just talking about it 2 hours ago, and of what would I say? What would you do if you were 20 years old today, starting over again? It's such a different world from when we all started.
Yeah.
Certainly the show business is so much different because of social media, et cetera. What would you say to somebody who is trying to do what you're doing? To a 20-year-old you today, what would you say?
Different now.
Well, isn't that different I think it's different in a good way, though,
Do
because
you?
what I had always said was say yes to everything except porn. That was
Oh,
always
shoot.
my advice.
Sean, yeah.
Darn it.
Well,
Keep going.
but
Sorry,
it worked
keep going.
out anyway for you. And that's a joke, everybody listening. No, still say no to porn, I think. I mean, I guess it depends on your level of comfort.
Yeah, and what you think porn
Everything's
is.
okay now. That's another issue. But that was it. It was just say yes to everything. You have no idea who's going to see it. You have no idea what it's going to
Right.
lead to, what
Right.
you're going to learn from doing it. And now everyone has a camera and can post it on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The tough part, I think, for me, it would be like I would say to somebody, and these are unrealistic sort of parameters, is that like, yeah, go do it if you don't need it in order to make a living, and also if you don't need to be hired to find validation about your talent. Like those are two really hard things to like. My confidence was always tied to being chosen, to being employed. You know, like if I didn't get the job, I can't feel good about myself. Once I got the job, I was fucking perfect. I was
Yeah.
just bulletproof. And then inevitably the job is over. And that's
Right.
tantamount to being fired. And you got to go find another job. And until I got that job, I couldn't feel good about myself. And so
Right.
my self-esteem was always tied to employment. And employment is not in your control. So therefore the way you feel about yourself is not in your control. And that was a real tough thing for me. And then also, you know, if you have to, if it's your only way to make a living, it's really stressful.
It is.
You know?
Yeah, I agree, and I think that you're right. And we've talked about this before again, which is I've never believed. I think it's really dangerous to tie your self-worth into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, JB, think about it. Your perspective is different because you grew up working your whole life since you were a kid. Sean and I came into it later from other parts of the world. You grew up in Los Angeles, Lisa, but again, you came from a different world, kind of
Yeah.
a whole different world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was being employed at a time when I didn't really care about being employed, and then when it became important to be employed, things had sort of dried out for me, and so like I needed to make money, and I also needed to
Yeah.
feel good about myself, and it was just tough, and you know, it forced me to do some of the work that people should do earlier, which is, you know, get a good base of self-esteem and self-worth before you enter the workforce.
Right. That's hard to do, period. I mean,
Yes.
that's sort of like
In
the whole
I know.
lifelong
That's-
commitment.
I know,
Exactly.
right?
That's the journey right there.
I have something to say about Friends still.
Okay.
Just one
Sorry,
thing.
we got a caller here. Go ahead. I have something to
Yes,
say
we
about
were
Fr-
all friends. Yeah. Was that it? Okay.
What are your thoughts about the ebb and flow of the show? Because I remember when I moved to LA, Friends was obviously massive. I moved in 95 and it was huge. And then there was a hibernation period after it was over, and then Netflix took over, and there was this resurgence of popularity. Not that it ever went away, but it just came back this massive, almost as big as when it first started.
Right.
And what was that like? Did you feel that change again? Or were you just like, I'm still here, it doesn't affect me?
Yeah, but it was always on in syndication. So
Right.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But even in syndication, it didn't seem like it made as big of an impact as it did when it moved to Netflix.
right,
Yeah?
that's what I heard.
That's
Well,
true.
yeah, but
Okay,
I mean,
so-
that's speaking more to the phenomena of Netflix than anything
Right.
else. But it was so popular, and it's undeniable, right? So like we're just sort of stating the obvious. It was so incredibly popular, and still is, but so popular, and also so internationally popular. It was so big. It was able to do a thing that very few American shows did, which was sort of transcend sort of language and all sorts of
Right.
things. I mean, every one of my adult friends in the UK are massive fans of Friends in a way that's really
Everybody I know.
That's
is,
true. Yeah.
But Lisa, you're one of the few who, you know, had such an iconic character on a television show, and then you achieved what seems like from the outside the impossible, and parlayed that into and broke out of Phoebe, which a lot of people can't do.
Oh, you
and
think
did
I
it.
did?
You did.
Oh,
Romeo
yeah.
and Michelle's high school reunion, opposite of sex. I analyzed this. You were so fucking great and analyzed this. And then
Comeback?
you did the comeback. So that's what I was getting to because I'm a massive fan of that show.
Thanks.
I've seen every episode. I love it so much.
So much.
Valerie Cherish is one of the funniest characters I've ever seen in my whole life.
Thanks.
Truly. And then I was on it, so thank you.
Woo-hoo.
And then, but talk to me about that character and how you came up with it. Is it based on a real person? And if you haven't seen The Comeback, see The Comeback. It's so
incredible.
Thanks. I know. I'm the most proud of The Comeback.
Yeah, you should be. It's so great.
The most.
But how did you come up with that character?
Well, I mean, it's a composite of people, honestly. I'm not trying to, be coy. But it just was a composite of a lot of different people that, you'd see on talk shows. I had a character at the Groundlings called, your favorite actress on a talk show. And
That's funny. That's funny. And is that a little bit of Valerie Cherish?
well, it was, because it was way before Valerie Cherish.
Can we speak to
but-
Valerie Cherish? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, you can. Huh?
Welcome to SmartLess.
This is nice. Thanks.
Oh my God, you actually
I
did
love
it.
it.
You actually did. That was actually, I was being coy. All right.
Valerie, are you comfortable being on a podcast at all? Or
If it's being broadcast, I'm comfortable.
it's so funny. Wait, okay, so it's a little bit of that
She says
Groundlings.
everything like it's a sitcom.
Right.
That's a line.
So,
Like a tag. Everything
so
she
good.
says is a tag or a button. Wait, what did
Yeah, yeah.
button there, I tell you.
So
A blow.
good.
A blow.
a blow?
It's so funny. Are you going to do more of them?
God, I would love to.
Well, why can't it be Curb Your Enthusiasm? You just do a season whenever you want.
Yeah.
Well, because Larry David can call up HBO and say, "All right, I want to do more."
Yeah, but
okay?
the comeback is huge. The comeback was huge.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Michael Patrick King is busy with,
Oh yeah,
and just like that,
that's
see.
Sex
What
and the
what
City,
is your level of effort and interest in creating new shows, new characters? Where does all that sit with you right now? Where most of your interests lie?
That's such a good question. I mean, I've spent the last few years being really interested in not producing
Yeah,
and just acting and being cast.
yeah.
And so I've done that. It's just none of it has come out yet.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it will all this year.
Is the producing boring? Is it boring?
No, it's not that it's boring. I mean, for me, it just felt, it's a lot of work.
Frustrating.
It's
for
laborious
nothing.
for very little payoff. Yeah.
Yeah, I got tired of making other people money and big money that way.
Right. So there's that. But then also, it just felt so fraught,
Yeah.
also just with like HR issues and things like that. So I just wanted, okay, I'm not producing.
Yeah, because as an actor, everything's done basically, and then you get cast, and then you're just a few weeks away from actual shooting. You
Right.
even skip all the pre-production and all that stuff, not to mention all the development and the pitching and the budgeting and all of that. It's just like so many different points of the process it can go wrong,
Yeah.
and you can be frustrated. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I produced a show, Who Do You Think You Are, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
not scripted. It's
I was on it.
Yes. Oh my God, that
So
was
good.
such a good
I mean, it was
episode.
so fascinating.
Yeah. And I loved doing that. I mean, I loved the research stage,
Wow.
the editing and like how you're going to lay out the story for the person to discover and where the documents are found and, that stuff. I loved doing that show, producing that.
That's
And
great.
that's it.
And-
But I mean, everything else is like, wow.
And that's it. Wait,
I don't know. But the comeback, yes. I mean, because I write the comeback with Michael. So, yeah.
Just love it. I just love
It's so
it.
good. So wait, really quick. I have something else to talk. I want to talk about Time Bandits because I loved that movie as a kid, and now you're in the series Time
Oh,
Bandits.
you did? You loved that
I
movie?
loved it.
I
I've
loved
seen
it, too.
I've seen it a
Really?
ton of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
loved
wow.
it.
I liked it too. I saw it in the theater too.
What can you tell me a little bit? Taika Waititi, right? He's directing or wrote it or both or
Both Taika and Jermaine Clement,
Yep.
who
What about Ian Morris?
and Ian Morris. Yes, fantastic. But when I first learned about it, was just Taika and Jermaine wrote the pilot, and
such a good idea.
and I went, well, I don't care. Yes. Do I need to read it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And
With those kind
it's
of
in
people.
New Zealand. I've always wanted to see New Zealand.
Right.
So
They
yes.
still have the Hobbitville there from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, not where we were shooting.
That's not what you're saying. Okay.
And I didn't
But
see
it would
that.
work well
Because I was
time
busy
management.
working.
All right, fine.
So I didn't
So,
see much.
Someone's got a future in locations. Okay.
So this is
I know.
this is a series that you've shot that's yet to come out.
It's coming out July, I think 26th
Nice.
on Apple.
On Apple.
That's so exciting. I can't wait to see it.
Oh,
That's
I
cool.
know. I'm trying right now with this system to watch, this Pix thing, and they send you,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Yeah, I
you
can't.
can
It's just
try to watch things on it.
Daily
It's
is
really
the same.
hard.
It's very difficult.
Tell me about if you can, a really crazy groundling theater story, like something that went wrong or awry.
Oh God.
Fucking Sean. I
love
fucking
it.
love you.
I love
What?
it because I used to do a show at the Groundlings
You did?
with my friend Darlene Hunt, and it was
She is darling.
Darlene Hunt, and it was called no, it was called
Sorry. And then something went wrong, Shawnee.
Name of the show doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
And
that
as soon
much.
as you wrap this up, we'll get to the answer. First,
Platonically
Lisa.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Oh man, thank God we
then
paused.
what
for that.
happened?
Oh, that's good.
It's a good title, right? Yeah, it was
Oh,
really
he's
good.
proud of the title.
No, I just had to wear false teeth, and they popped out a
What?
couple times. No,
Fuck.
no, but I didn't know if you had anything because we all have the same friends from the Groundlings. We all know a lot of the
Yeah.
same people. Tim Bagley.
Oh, that's the stuff that happened backstage. That
That's
was
what I'm saying. That's
bad,
the best part.
Because, I have a lot of those because I am always working on my filter with people because to me, facts don't hurt,
Yeah,
so, like letting someone know, like, oh, I don't know about that sketch. It's more of like a ditty than a sketch. I mean, you just sort of,
Right.
like, it feels like
Right.
it belongs on a cruise ship.
So this is a recurring theme. So when you go like, oh, you're just like your character, like that's just something your filter.
Well, no, but here.
Well, but I know I do that. So sometimes that's my joke too. Do you know what I mean? Then I'm being the person with no filter.
How about just you're not full of shit? And I think that's great.
Thanks,
Don't
Jason.
change that. I mean, you're not hurting people's feelings, right? You've got a filter that keeps you from really chopping somebody's legs off. I mean, Will's, you got to amp it up just a little bit to get to him.
Yeah.
But
That, I guess, was rough. And I didn't think it was rough to say. To me, it's just a song. But we were all being asked, what do you think of this piece? So, to be fair. And that, by the way, was Mike Hitchcock, who's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Love Mike
Genius
Hitchcock.
talent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then one time backstage at the Groundlings, he came and he said, I had a dream about you last night. I said, oh, you did? He said, yeah, you threw acid in my face.
He's really funny, that guy.
Like, from the thing? Is that because of he's like, that was my dream.
Well, speaking of dreams, we've taken up way too much of your time, Lisa Kudrow.
Yes,
You've
You
got
are
Yes.
a dream.
Yeah.
You are a dream. Thank you for
Thanks,
coming
you're a
on, honey.
Lisa,
This
We
was
love
so
you.
fun. Thanks,
Love
guys.
you.
I really enjoyed talking to you.
please say hi. Please say hi to Michelle.
I will.
Yes.
Yeah. Ask him if he needs new wedges.
Oh.
What's a wedge? Oh,
It's a
for
golf-
It's
golf.
a
It's a
golf club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Michelle twice last week.
Oh, you
just thought-
did?
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
a silky swing.
That's great. I love golf stories.
No, that's another podcast. Listener, that's sarcasm.
All right, Lisa, we love you. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yeah,
Love
I
you.
hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah. So great
Yeah.
to see you. You're the best.
You guys are.
Oh, I love you. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for doing this.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye,
Do
bye,
I
bye.
log off? Do I get
Yeah,
it?
you
And
just
slam
slam
it.
it or do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. The great.
I think the great Lisa Kudrow. You think
great
anybody
Lisa
ever
Kudrow.
calls her LK?
Why not?
I would call her LK. That's a good.
We
that's-
call you JB, but nobody says WA because that's too
No,
much work.
it's not fun. Yeah,
It's
and
tough. You know-
SH not
Just
fun.
shh,
JB's kind of like that shitty.
like a butler.
Like or some kind of a I don't know where I got that from, but maybe I should. But LK is good to say, right?
Okay.
You should
JK.
workshop it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're doing that now, right?
Just
listeners,
run
go
it
ahead and
out
call
there.
in while we're still on. And
But isn't she good? You know, Jay, you said a while ago about Larry David. You were like, boy, you did Seinfeld, then you did Curb Your Enthusiasm. You just did really two things that were, I mean, you did other things, of course, but two shows that were just hit huge. And she did many shows that hit, like, and movies and stuff. And because she takes the time to create characters and like specificity of all of that stuff. And she, to me, she's always taken the time and the energy to make something great or make sure it can be great.
Yeah. And the whole people I talk to, people I hear from, or just she's universally thought of as just like high taste, really smart comedy.
Yeah.
Which comes from being a good actor, I think. You know, I mean, she's you know, she says that she's not that interested in drama, or at least she said in the beginning she wasn't interested in drama class. I'll bet if she took a dramatic role, which
she'd be great,
she's probably done. And
she has done,
it, but that
opposite of
she'd make you cry real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome and just such a talent. Yeah, and she's so. It's funny that. Right, that she plays that character Phoebe on Friends, who's sort of kind of out there and whatever, and yet Lisa's so razor sharp, like so smart.
I know, razor sharp, and she got her beginnings, you know, being smart by going to Vassar, studying that one science,
and working in a doctor's office.
Biology.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Bye.
SmartLess.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Bennett Barbaco, Michael Grant Terry, and Rob Armjarf.
SmartLess.